Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is The Myth Machine with all sorts of cool vampire streams. I'm Mikael Hellstrom, your friendly storyteller for this particular session, and with us today we have... That's your cube players. Who wants to start to introduce themselves? Bella!
Oh, the volunteer who starts, yeah.
You have been voluntold.
Okay, I'm Isaac, and who has been or was a rat catcher before, with roots from Constantinople and Hungary, and loves visiting bars, but not really for the drinks, but mostly for storytellers or singers or just interesting people.
Yeah,
Next
and
one.
he is a Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody is a vampire, by the way, obviously, because it's vampire. And then we have, who wants to go next? That would be Vasilis.
Yeah, and my character is Theognosius Taronitis, which is an ex-noble, but then turned a scholar and monk and priest and missionary all over the Balkans and trying to root out heresy, which was very much the thing at the time too. And then he returned in Constantinople and started writing treatises against those heresies and finding and promoting the truth of God. And he's all about knowledge and reading and studying and all those things. And he now is a Zimissi vampire, and he's on his way, being very creepy and weird, and as Zimissi do. But we'll see how that goes. His faith is not that strong anymore in Christ, but he may find other things to believe into, or we'll see how that goes.
Indeed.
And that's my summary.
Indeed. And that means we have one person left.
Yes, me, Wouter. My character is Leonidas Cabras Dalasenos, who is a former infantry officer in the military, and who is still more of an advisory capacity, hoping to get some influence in the city that way, deal with some issues where people might need to be adjusted in behavior with some dominates. Yeah, make sure the army does what's good for the city and him a little bit, maybe.
Indeed.
Yes.
And these are all neonates who were embraced into the night over the past few years. The year is 1197 in the year of our Lord, and we are in Constantinople, the Peril of all cities, the mother of Christendom, the capital of the new Roman Empire. And this campaign is played with the 5th edition vampire, which is not really designed for Dark Ages, so we have done some hacks here and there. Anyway, you've all been embraced recently into your respective clans. You've gotten to know your clanmates, the courts of Constantinople. It's a huge city, 500,000 souls, and there's literally dozens, potentially hundreds of Cainites roaming the streets at night or the shadows and preying on humans and conducting their intrigues, as you have been experiencing lately in your various ways. This is a new night for you, so before we jump into the scene, I'm going to ask you all for a rouse check, as you are going to use that Cain's blood, the powers of Cain's blood, to wake yourself from the slumber of the day.
No need for any modifications, right?
That's correct.
Let's roll. Right.
There we go. Isaac is not getting any hungrier tonight.
So we roll with the default, right? One die?
Yep.
Or... Okay.
Leonidas is also not getting hungrier, and nor is Theognosius. Very good. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? You have been summoned to the Imperial Palace this night, in various ways. And you've all been to the Imperial Palace before. The cluster of palaces, because the Imperial Palace downtown Constantinople is in fact a whole set of palaces. It's 10 of them or so, with wings and annexes and extra buildings stacked on top of each other almost, each added during a different century. So it's a bit of a potpourri of various architectural styles, which I don't think any of you care about to note too much, because none of you are architects. I think for Isaac, it's very nice to walk around on these grounds because it's very easy to hide in this warren of annexes, corridors, shadows, deep shadows behind all the various columns and the colonnades and so on and so forth. It's a very nice place if you are Leonidas, and because of all the beauty and riches of the new Roman Empire truly on display. Everything from the most beautiful statue of Helen of Troy and other luminaries, mythological and real. I'm sure there's a statue of Belisarius somewhere around there. And the symbology of the Christian faith that carries the empire, which probably speaks to Theognosius. But you are not here tonight for any court appearance. You have been summoned to meet in a series of offices. And standing before you this night is 3 canines, whom I think most of you haven't seen much of, except for Isaac, of course, because you will recognize Malachite, the Rock of Constantinople, standing as steady as always. Remind me, have Leo and Theognosius met Malachite before? I don't think so. More in passing, perhaps, during court.
I sure have not. I think, or we didn't go through the scene, but I think I have not.
Very well.
Only, I suppose, only when we were introduced to the court.
Yep, you would have seen him in passing then, but I don't think you spoke to him at all. And
I don't believe so.
so, Leonidas and Theognosius then, before you stands 3 Canaanites who you have not associated with much at all. The first, from the left, if you will, is a young woman. By the looks of it, she seems to be somewhere in her mid-20s, perhaps. She is wearing a long, flowing dress that actually accentuates her figure, which is a very nice one for those who care about such carnal details. She does have a soft beauty, delicate bones, supple skin, blonde hair, crystal blue eyes that sparkle with intensity. I think maybe the anatomical side here of Theognosius might be interested in things like bone structure and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she is, of course, the...
A spinner?
What was that?
Who knows?
Yeah. She is, of course, the autocrator Natalia of Clan Bruja. She rules Clan Bruja, scions of the Ventru. In that sense, she has sworn fealty to your clan, Leonidas, but in this case, your status is a 2, and she has higher status than you, so you are the one that's about to her. Yep, Neonate of Ventru does not trump leader of Clan Bruja. So I suppose all of you will have to... What was that?
A pity, really.
A pity, really, yes. The Nosferatu is, of course, one of the ugliest people you've ever seen, except for maybe Isaac. He has dead, dry skin tightly drawn over his bones, which cracks and splits every time he moves a bit. There's no hair on his head at all, not even eyebrows. Knife-thin nose. But he has a noble and tall bearing. Thin but regal. And his eyes stare with a meaningful intensity. He is not dressed in the finery silks and embroidered cloth of Natalia, preferring simple black robes. Finally, there is a Norman knight, which might be a bit odd compared to the others here. He's not dressed in armor at the moment, but he has his sort of Norman tunic and hoses, and there's some Byzantine details, maybe with the embroideries and along the cuffs and collars.
A Western knight?
Yeah,
Good.
he has a sword at his side, which is very barbaric, really. Like a true noble in Constantinople would never wear something as uncivilized as a sword. But he does. And he has solid riding boots on and a cloak sort of over his shoulders. He's not tall at all. He is slender, proportioned and muscular, mind you, but shorter than anyone else here, probably. And there is a pretty deep scar over his left cheek, revealing that even in his mortal days, he definitely saw combat and lived to tell the tale. There is a melancholy over his face, though. Of these three, they are all, in fact, leaders of clans here. But of the three of them, Malachite is the one doing the talking. Neonates, he says, as he looks over you. I have summoned you here tonight for great purpose. I have heard from my colleagues here, Natalia and Baron Peril, of your particular aptitudes. Have watched you from the shadows. I think you have metal, perhaps. Perhaps enough strength of spirit for what is to come. He's gonna give each one of you a stare, seemingly looking into your souls. How might we react to this? Leonidas?
They're back, of course.
Stare back? Oh, we have a stare off, my friends. You know what? Yeah, it's gonna be a... Resolve and intimidation. Roll them dice.
Alright.
Oh, gee. He will, in fact, avert his eyes before you. Or rather, not avert his eyes. He will end the stare. He's the one taking the initiative to end the stare down. And nodding to himself. smiling. There is a crack in his face, like slender cracks in his skin as he's smiling unsettlingly. What might we have for intimidation resolve on Theognosius?
Yeah, first I'd like to ask you if I recognize them even from descriptions or something.
These three?
Yeah, these three, if I have a...
You have a bit of politics. Why don't you... Yeah, you can take half. You should know enough of that. Yeah, you've read about the clan heads. So Natalia is the leader of Clan Bruja, the Lexor Bruja. They are sworn to the Ventru in the Trinity. They pay homage. They have sworn fealty to the Ventru. They are responsible for Imperial bureaucracy, paper shuffling, taking care of all the... While the Ventru deal with the nobility, the Bruja are running the bureaucracy. Tax collectors, clerks, all that stuff that nobles don't do. Scribes and so on and so forth. Malachite of the Nosferatu is the leader of the Malachite scion family of Nosferatu in the city. As far as there is, like, very few Nosferatu in the city. We're talking 3, maybe? And he is one of them and leads them. They are, surprisingly perhaps, given the often rivalry between those two clans, they have sworn fealty to the Toreador. They are a scion family of the Toreador and under Saint Michael's protection.
Okay.
The Baron is someone you would be familiar with and have seen before every once in a while, Theognosius, because he comes into the monastery regularly to confer with Tsumish. He is the lord of the Gangrel. They're called the Baron's Gangrel, and they have sworn fealty to the Tsumish to protect the monastery, and he has... You don't know how many child are out there who are basically scouting the lands around the monastery and in other parts of Constantinople itself to see that the dream is safe.
Okay.
So they recruit fierce fighters in that clan.
Is there any chance that I have noticed some more spicy stuff or shady?
Not really, no.
Yeah, though.
You would be... You've been cloistered in the library too much, and the Gangrel, while they protect the library, do not go inside it.
Yeah, of course.
They also don't have the right to go inside it.
Okay, so, yeah, while I suppose he's trying to think of all those things you said now, and he's looking from one to the other under his cowl, his hood. So, yeah, I suppose he won't be staring down on Isaac. On Isaac, on the Nosferatu one. I forgot his name already.
You can do a mouse over on the tokens and then you'll see their names. Why don't we roll an intimidation resolve to stare back at these unseeing eyes? Actually, they are very seeing eyes. These very penetrating eyes. Discerning gaze.
So,
Then, it's not gonna be quite enough. So we are having a bestial failure here. Let's see.
Okay.
That's gonna be compulsion, my friend. You don't actually lose any willpower points this time, though. Unless you want to spend a willpower point to re-roll the black die. You can do that. Yeah. Apparently Malachite's gaze is unsettling to you.
although, yeah, I suppose I will spend the willpower just because,
so...
yeah, I've seen freaks before in the monastery. I mean, my clan is some...
If you right-click on the chat box there and click willpower reroll, you get a chance to reroll that final die. 50-50 chance now.
The final die?
Yeah, the black one. So
okay.
there you go. Oh, alas and alack.
Yeah, okay.
Well then.
In my eyes, the Zimmies are beautiful and
They are. But it's not just that. It's a connection soul to soul. It's not about your superficial. He's not evaluating your facial structure. He is evaluating your soul. If you have the integrity, the metal. And yeah, since this is in fact an audience with witnesses, these are people of. You're basically being slightly intimidated, not much, but slightly, in
Okay.
front of clan leaders. And that's going to affect your willpower a bit here. So I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3 points of superficial willpower damage, which you might be able to alleviate later this night and taking the correct actions for that. But yeah, I think his stare is going to. He's weighing your soul, and at this particular moment, you're not sure that he found your soul worthy. Which
yeah,
is
so
the first
yeah,
time in a while.
yeah.
Notably, he is not staring at Isaac. As this stare down is concluded, Natalia will start speaking. Indeed. I want to thank you all for coming. It was a hasty summons, and you were under no obligation to attend. But you are here, and that is very gratifying to see. Lord Leonidas, you are a recent addition to the Antonian Ventru in this city. What do you make of your clan so far? I know you've had at least some months to orient yourself within the clan and within the affairs of the clan, as it were. I don't mean to pry out any Antonian secrets, of course. I am just curious about your impressions in general.
Solid for the most part, though we need to decide on a course of action soon.
Solid. Need to decide on a course of action. Yes. Yes, indeed. When do you think a course of action might have been decided?
By the end of the year should be most fortuitous.
By the end of the year. We're in the spring now. That's a great many months. There's a slight smirk on her face. Are you trying to smooth over the internal divisions of Clan Ventry here?
Slightly.
Ever so slightly. We're doing a manipulation subterfuge, aren't we?
Yes.
Alright, go ahead.
What am I supposed to say? It's all gone to shit before I was
Maybe?
even embraced. That's not what I'm gonna say.
She's very charming, and will try to be charming.
Let's
So
see.
roll them away. You do
3.
your clan a great deal of credit, she says. We are happy that you are very loyal to your elders. It does you credit, she says. But she's also, you can tell that she's wavering, because as you're speaking to each other, this is a little bit of a battle of words here, where Leonidas, she's trying to tease out if there are any cracks in the foundation of the clan, and Leonidas is very skillfully avoiding to reveal any weaknesses at all, and everything is fine, until she in fact gives up, which may or may not be embarrassing for her in front of her peers. But yeah, her gaze hits the floor, and I wish I could have as great faith in the state of affairs as you do, my lord Leonidas. Lord Leonidas, I hate to say it, but I don't. She finally comes out with it. The three of us, we have been watching, waiting, studying. The dream, we feel, and the other two will not, is in peril. It is in peril from within and without. From within, let's just say that as the head of the Bruja, and yes, I am fairly young to have that position, and I've only had it since the destruction of my sire Trebonius about a decade ago. We're supposed to support you in among the Antonians with administering the bureaucracy of the empire. We're doing that to the best of our ability, but that may or may not be enough. One of the problems that I have as an autocrator is that I need clear direction from the Antonians in how to best spend the resources of the bureaucracy to uphold the dream. And currently I'm getting a lot of different pieces of advice, I should say, and many of them are contradictory. I cannot satisfy one without violating the other. This is a problem. That is for the worldly part of the dream. Malachite will nod and add, I am, of course, a scion of Saint Michael. The Archangel lies torpid. And without him, the Toreador are scattered, losing their sense of purpose and unity. Many of them brood in the churches looking for a sign from the Archangel. But they do not go to Petronius to assist him in leading and inspiring the humans. Not even the architects do this well these nights. It is as if they have been afflicted by the curse of Malka. When he goes silent, Thomas will, of course, speak up for the first time. I too am concerned, and I know, Father Theognosius, that you are one of the faithful in the monastery, but we also know that for the past many decades, few of the Akemete monks leave the monastery grounds. How will the Tzimish guide the spiritual well-being of humans, the good Christians all, here in our capital and beyond, if they stay inside the monastery? More importantly, I hear many reports from across the Imperial lands of threats to the Empire.
Of God's will and our place within His plan is not a thing to be trifled with. Through our exploration of knowledge, we shall find the way to guide the faithful of Constantinople in these troubled times. But, of course, it's true what you say, that my brethren do not venture out of the monastery so much. Introspection is, of course, God's will, but you have to know also of the worldly things and to guide the faithful. So that's. I wanted to ask you also, out of character now, why do we care about the dream?
That
It is
is
a good question.
entirely up to you as a character. Your sire, Eleodora, have definitely been speaking a lot about the dream and how important, basically, when it comes... Theognosius has not been speaking too much to other Knights outside of the monastery. When it comes to the dream, the other Tsimish see their spiritual quest for enlightenment through meditation as key to realizing the dream. We can't realize the dream if we can't find the divinity within ourselves. That's where we're going to find the key to sharing the dream with others. But maybe the Baron has a point about how introspection means that you lose touch with everybody else.
Yeah, that's
For-
why I agree in a sense.
Yeah, for your sire, Eleodora, for her, the dream is manifest in the library itself. That is the pinnacle of what the dream has achieved. Of course, the only people ever accessing the library... Too bad for the Toreador and the Ventral. You don't share in the greatest thing we've ever created for the dream or something. So maybe that's a little bit odd. On the other hand, Eleodora has absolutely no intention of suddenly giving out library cards to the rest of the Knights in the city, or like the humans. This is your treasure. It's to be kept this way because it's too valuable, too dangerous to share. That's her attitude to it. As for Theognosius's attitude towards the dream, you've studied it, she certainly taught you during your tutelage as a fledgling before you were introduced to court. It's simply, Constantinople shall be a center of enlightenment and learning, where Knights inspire humans to ever greater achievements of civilization. That's about it. Don't know what Theognosius makes of that or his own role in it. He certainly hasn't been queried on that. Nobody is making him... It's not like Simeon, the Kesitor, or Gesu, your clan leader, is sitting down and having a quiz about what have you done to contribute to the dream this week. That is not happening.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, at the moment I believe I more interested in the introspective part of that point of view of the dream. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure yet if he's going to support the dream or just be selfish and use it for his own sentence or whatever. But we'll see. We're just began. Our role in it is not clear yet.
Yes,
we'll see how
that
it goes.
is the case. For Isaac and Leonidas, just to respond to the same question from your point of view that Vasilis just asked about Theognosius. For Isaac, has Malachite mentioned the dream? Yes, quite a lot. When you were a fledgling and learned how to be a Nosferatu and hiding out in all the places, the shadows of Constantinople, places where civilized people don't go, he has very often spoken about the importance of protecting the humans, being a shepherd for the humans, much like you're doing. Like, you're trying to protect your human relatives, Isaac, which is something that Malachite has congratulated, encouraged, and been proud of that his child is doing. And this should be a place of safety for your human relatives, Isaac. That's what the dream is supposed to be about, to make this basically a paradise on Earth, the closest we can get to a paradise on Earth for humans. Very lofty ambition. Yeah, and how the Archangel Saint Michael have had this vision for Cainites and humans alike. I don't know if Isaac has taken that to heart, taken that as a sense of purpose for him in undeath, but Malachite certainly believes in it. You know that much. For Leonidas, Andronicus has definitely spoken to you about the dream. The entire Antonian Ventru family is speaking about the dream. From the point of view of Andronicus, it's a very practical thing. We have territory. We are the guards of the dream in a very real, material sense. We are the shield. The Ventru are the shield, and the spear, and the cavalry. This is, if these foreign enemies of ours, whether it be Bulgars or Serbs or Turks, if they get to overrun the Imperial lands, the dream is over. It's a very practical, we need to capture these points on the map type of perspective. And yeah, that's how the Ventru have so far approached it as far as you're concerned. Of course, you haven't had...
Just an excuse for ruling a large amount of land.
Maybe, if you want to be cynical about it.
Cynical me, I wouldn't dare.
Caius, your clan leader, and Anna Komnena, your chamberlain, haven't approached you personally about this because you're like several steps removed from them on the Ventru hierarchy, so they're telling people who are telling people who are telling you. And I don't know how much you have taken that to heart through that sort of hierarchical relationship to the higher-ups within your clan. You speak mostly to the ideal of your clan, who is the one who deals with the Neonites, after all. How much might Isaac have taken to heart the dream? Let's hear it. How much does Isaac believe in the dream?
I think he accepts what Malachite thinks about this. At the moment, he does what is needed. His family is in priority if there is need. But of course, might try out doing such things. Maybe not convinced or not being enthusiastic, really. At the moment, but this is what is expected from him, and this is a completely new situation to him.
Oh, for sure.
Always he was expected to do something because of others' interests, so there is no change in that, but still it is a little bit different. So
yep,
he does what needed.
He does what people are asking of him, and from his point of view, I don't have to be sharing a cause in my heart of hearts. I'm just going to follow orders anyway.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be something against his moral or other. He's okay with that, but not yet convinced. He's not putting 120% towards this dream, but just do what is expected from him.
Yeah. Is Leo very cynical about the dream, having seen the Ventru bicker and argue with each other for...
I was more optimistic about it, but that first meeting with all the different political factions already currying favor does sort of bring with it more of a reality check.
Yep. Disappointed in your clan, but dream is a fine idea, I guess?
You get a lot of great stories about how awesome Clan Ventru is through your sire, and then you see them all in a room together and it's a mess.
He has seen behind the curtain. He has seen how the sausage is made, and it was not pretty. You are all thinking on this message. Natalia will speak again. Neonates, she says. The three of us all believe deeply in the dream. We feel that what the Dracon, Antonius, and St. Michael together gathered to achieve here is still achievable. But we also see the cracks in the foundation. We also see the problems that are now befalling the three Trinity families in different ways. And we hope that the three of you, who are in many ways a representation of the Trinity families, Isaac being a scion of the Toreador as his sire, maybe if we approached you neonates most recently accepted into the court, maybe we can work together to protect the dream in ways that others are too distracted to do at the moment. And we don't mean this to be distracting from your other duties, to your clans, to your elders. Of course, you should carry them out. Your sires or your other superiors will certainly have mandates and tasks for you to do. But perhaps between such hours as you spend for them, we could work together to ensure the continuity of the dream for St. Michael and the others. In whatever little way we can do, we can work. And there is one threat from without that we are particularly concerned with at the moment, that we feel needs addressing, and addressing promptly, perhaps more promptly than some decision makers can manage to make a decision at the moment. Malachite? Yes, we have had word from our friends around the city, the eyes and ears. There is a new threat in this city. This is not from among ourselves. It is from outside. There are witch hunters in Constantinople. As of yet, they have not caught or destroyed any of the Cainites of the Trinity. They make their havens, as far as we know, in the Latin quarters, because Bishop Alfonso the Fool allowed them residence there. Yes, the bishop allows any Cainite residence in his domains. And this has proven to be a great opportunity for any and all who are attracted like moth to a flame to this, the greatest city of Christendom. And then they arrive in those Latin quarters and realize that it is a wretched slum, a stinking, festering heap, a boil upon this land. And they have no right to enter the Trinity lands. So now it is overpopulated with Cainites of all sorts, including those of the weakest bloods, including those who do not even have a clan to their name. The carrion, desperate. Yes. Every night in the Latin quarters, is a struggle for turf and survival, even normally. And such flagrant abuses of the powers of Cain attract the eyes of those who are the enemies of all Cainites, such as witch hunters. It is an irony. The bishop has lost not one, but two childer to this new menace. I have eyes and ears inside the Latin quarters. Kin of mine, Nosferatu, who speaks to us of this. Apparently, the bishop has announced a blood hunt to find these so-called witch hunters. We think the three of you would be good candidates to make sure these witch hunters do not threaten the Trinity.
Witch hunters in what sense? I'm asking. I suppose because it's not a common thing.
Witch hunter is the common name among vampires for humans that chase down vampires to destroy them, because vampires are cursed by God, and therefore, so the humans think, by definition, creatures of the devil. Tends to be fanatical priests, human priests, who have not been turned in any way. But it could also be, miracle. There are stories about priests who basically get halos of the halo of God and use that to burn vampires to a cinder in the middle of the night. It's like the sun shines through their eyes. There are all sorts of stories like that. Yeah, witch hunters tend to be human priests who try to kill humans.
I would be searching the library for more information, but okay, starters, it's fine.
Yeah. The Baron. Is it true? I think we of the Ganrel, we are trying to patrol the area bordering the court of the Latin, but it is a geographically large area. I do not have nights to spare for this, but perhaps the three of you could help. There is a place in the in the Great Bazaar bordering the Quartier. It is called the South Aswad. The South Aswad is a very fine place of dining for humans. It is a tavern, but it is also neutral ground for our kind. And you will find quite often Cainites from the Latin quarters speaking to those of the Trinity for various reasons. I'm sure some are more sinister than others. But for you to enter the Latin Quartier, I think the South Aswad would be a good place to start. Because, of course, you cannot enter the Quartier safely without the approval of the bishop. Will you take it upon yourselves to do this? Asks Natalia, to track down these witch hunters and make sure that they do not threaten Cainites among the Trinity. We know that quite a few of at least the Toreador have taken to carnal pleasures even within the Great Bazaar, which brings them very close to the Latin Quarter border. The Silk Road of the Children of Judas, their brothel, is right there in the Great Bazaar as well, and they satisfy every need. Should witch hunters find out about it, I feel that we could have a threat pointed towards many of our elders, including Kaital's followers of Set, perhaps. And as much as we might disagree with the children of Judas here in the city, they are under the personal protection of St. Michael and therefore under the protection of the dream. What do you say? Even if you don't care for the children of Judas, those who frequent their establishment could become the targets of these witch hunters. Like the Toreador and others.
So, the witch hunters are somehow contained within the Latin Quarter, or
we only know of slayings of Cainites destroyed within the Latin quarters at this point. We know that there is that two of Bishop Alfonso's childer have been struck down by these witch hunters. What is interesting here is, of course, that of all the... It's difficult to know who destroys whom within the Latin quarters because of the bestiality of the Cainites there. Some are, as far as I know, whites by now. Do you all know what a white is?
I don't.
no, I don't.
Okay. You would have been taught, this is one of those things you were taught in vampire school as a fledgling. A white, if a vampire loses all of their humanity, or whatever road they happen to be on, a road of heaven, road of metamorphosis and so on, if they lose all of their road, so the road is a way for you to shackle your own beast, right? To keep your beast at bay, to have some kind of moral compass to cling to not degenerate into a mindless animal that just roams the night looking for food to satiate your hunger. If you lose all the dots in that, the character is gone. So if you have 0 in humanity, or whatever road you're on, you are no longer a playable character because now you're a mindless beast who just roams the night looking to without capacity to sentient thought anymore. It's like losing all your sanity in Call of Cthulhu. You're done. Make a new character. So apparently there are Cainites in the Latin quarters who have fallen that far to have lost completely their control over the beast and are now just dominated by the beast, is what Natalia is saying. And she's also saying that there are so many Cainites who come and go. Some of them are never even acknowledged by the bishop before they are destroyed by someone else in their endless war for turf in there. That it's hard to say that which Cainite might be destroyed by a witch hunter and which might be destroyed by another Cainite in a quest for power. But these two childer, Bishop Alfonso is powerful. And his childer are 2. He has 3. No, 4. 2 of them now remain. And we do not believe that any of the carrion would be powerful enough to attack Bishop Alfonso himself, because he is a step above the others. So, and the fact that the bishop himself announced a blood hunt on these witch hunters, that tells us that he believes that witch hunters are to blame for this. We want you to ascertain whether there are witch hunters at work in the Latin quarters, if they have destroyed the bishop's childer, and make sure that they constitute no threat to the Trinity.
If there is a way to contain them and turn their attention only to the Latin Quarter, I suppose we could. Is a solution for the problem, right?
We do want to be good Christians, says Natalia. I hope we don't have to use such underhanded methods. We want, after all, to look after our neighbors, even though our neighbors might be quarrelsome at times. I would rather see the witch hunters neutralized as a threat. I don't mean to destroy or kill humans who are faithful to the Lord in their own fashion. Perhaps they could be persuaded some way to relinquish their hateful ways. But we don't know yet. It's far too early to tell. Simply ask God for guidance and do what the good Lord would want us to do in a difficult situation like this. Protect your flock. But do not let the devil speak in your ear about how to do that.
Of course. But
I would like for you all to do, let's see now, or do we have to? Let's see now. We have some insight there. Nope. Theognosius will be able to see things. Isaac can't see anything unless he rolls a wits and insight check and gets 2 successes. How about... Yeah, that goes for Leonidas as well.
To roll for this. Interesting, good Christian stick going on.
Yeah.
yeah,
Want all
Well-
vampires dead anyway?
insight and wits, right?
Yeah, you don't have to roll for that, Theognosius. You can just take half because you have a lot. You have 6 dice, so you don't have to roll.
Okay.
Leonidas succeeds.
This is insight and wits.
Yeah, you click with insight and then you add wits.
Yeah. I don't want to use blood surge.
You don't have to. You can certainly roll without. But in your case, bestial failure. Oh no. We get a compulsion. Do you want to roll on a compulsion here? Do you know where the table is?
No.
Alright, rollable tables is right next to the journal tab in the middle. To the right of the journal tab.
Okay. Yeah, the tables. Yeah, okay. Compulsions.
Yep, compulsions, and click roll.
Oh.
Harm! Oh dear. We do have ourselves a social situation here, don't we? Let's see. Sample compulsions, harm. You're in a social setting right now. Okay then. So, to reference the rule system here again, the vampire performs all actions not immediately resulting in someone or something getting harmed at a 2 dice penalty to your pool. So, compulsion will end when you incapacitate, destroy, or drives away a target. So, yeah, you will basically want to harass or psychologically torture someone, because you are now you're feeling a bit cornered. The beast within you is feeling aggression, like, why should I be having to do this? This is super dangerous to me. And maybe you've heard many bad things about the Latins and just want to hurt Latins somehow. Maybe that's an appeal for you. What do you think, Isaac? How is this compulsion to do harm going to articulate itself? Do you want to harm the other K Knights in front of you? Any of them, including Leo or Theognosius, or the elders or Ancillae that are talking to you, your superiors? Do you want to harm the Latins? Where is this aggression going to go? What is the target of your aggression, presumptively?
I think no, I don't want to harm anybody here, but when a good target just comes to me, or I come across somebody that seems to be a good target, then I will release this.
Very well.
Maybe those mob that were stealing from the beggar, or just the guy in the Latin quarters that I've confronted with, or somebody who just seems acting disrespectfully to poor or weak.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
This could be a kind of sudden
release of
Oh yeah, you have a growing sense of you inside you. This is really the beast, right? So it's going to be that growl inside you. Growing sense of threat, a growing feeling of aggression that you can't quite place. This is the animal inside you feeling cornered and wanting to lash out at something. That's basically it. You've seen cornered rats. You're a rat catcher. They will attack when they're cornered, and you're feeling much like them right now. Though you don't have to actually lash out at anyone around here, but 2 die penalty until you lash out at someone. Yeah, but Leonidas and Theognosius, you both succeeded, and you can note that these 3 clan leaders, there is no deception that you can detect here. They earnestly want to protect Constantinople. They want to protect the dream, and they're at the same time struggling with their own condition. They're vampires. They have to maintain their humanity after all, and as such, you're not supposed to just murder people, even if they're trying to murder you. And certainly Natalia does not want you to shed innocent blood. Like, her ideal, probably in this, being a bureaucrat, would be a series of arrests for more murderers so that human justice could deal with them, which, might include some hangings and, drawing and quartering and such, because that's what
yes, a
human
fair
justice
punishment, indeed.
like in the Middle Ages. There's
The
no
end of death
rehabilitation
regardless.
Exactly. No rehabilitation for murderers. But she certainly doesn't want to cross that line that she cares about your souls. Malachite and Peril, the Baron, might have slightly different takes on this because they're not necessarily on the road of humanity, which I think Leo and Theognosius will get the sense that Natalia is, but rather they will speak differently about this. And I guess it's Malachite who speaks on that matter more than Natalia. Such trickery. And he's gonna look towards Theognosius now. Such trickery is beneath us, truly. We must follow the path of honor, yes? The path of purpose, of valor. Huh? We will not allow this scourge of the witch hunters upon even our rivals in the Latin quarters. It must be stopped. We have honor. We must be strong in our honor, no? And as such, we do not countenance betrayal. We honor our word. Without our word, we are nothing, no? Theognosius, you are all... Leonidas, you are all Cainites who are true to yourselves, yes?
Of course,
Indeed.
but
If you do this, then perhaps Bishop Alfonso will see the error of his ways, and there might be a way to speak to him. A way to lessen the threat from the bishop to our lands. He will be in our debt, and surely as an honorable man, he will honor that debt.
is he though an honorable man?
You are on the path, you're on the road of heaven
No,
yourself.
the bishop.
Oh, the bishop? You don't know what road he might be on, but Theognosius, you are, I believe, on the road of heaven. And as such, there's going to be a problem here for you, because you are not allowed to harm a pious person. So if these witch hunters are in fact acting on the word of God rather than killing on the word of the devil, maybe they're... I mean, there could be other reasons why humans would chase after vampires. Maybe they just want vampire blood for whatever nefarious, devilish reasons.
Think of some.
Right?
Of course.
But if they are in fact priests, then it's going to be hard for you because you are not supposed to harm the pious.
I wasn't
Bishop
talking about harming the pious.
Yeah.
Quite the contrary.
And if the bishop is pious, which he hopefully is, being a bishop, but you don't know, you haven't met him, and I'm sure Theognosius will be reasonable enough to recognize that there are some people wearing the cloth who are, shall we say, less than pious. Some priests have...
In which creed also. That's also a matter.
Yeah, he would be Catholic. He would be Catholic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts as pious in your mind.
Not so much, I believe.
Can a heretic be pious, is the question.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, there are a whole complex of moral implications here. You're going to have a difficult road to tread, definitely. And I think the three ancillae in front of you are acknowledging it will be a difficult road to tread, says Malachite. There are ways for you to eliminate the threat that could endanger your soul. Do not give in to the beast on this quest. It seems like you are ready to accept, yes?
Yes, indeed. Though I'm not really buying, I believe. Although, yeah, my stats say otherwise, but I don't know. Maybe hiding something. Maybe they are not revealing all the information that they have access to.
As far as you can tell, they've revealed everything they think you need to know. I'm sure there are things that they know that they haven't revealed, but don't know if they think it's relevant to your current purpose.
Yeah, of course. But I sure can doubt, though.
They're not trying to trick you. That is... I mean, you know people. You have a sharp eye, and you've spent so much time among people, particularly people who try to hide their sinful nature, that people, and even if they're Cainites now and not humans, you can still see through them. And as far as you can tell, these three Cainites are not trying to trick you or deceive you, or... Which is unusual for Cainites, I'll acknowledge that, but...
That is suspicious in and of itself, really, if you think about it.
If you want to roll wits and insight check here to see deeper into their souls, then why not?
Yeah, sure. I'm having some doubts here, and I'm going to ask them, because it sure is interesting to me. Why are you three not trying to accuse you of anything, but there are, of course, elders quite higher in rank from us, but from you as well. And why are you three coming to us with this quest, so to say, with this investigation? I'm wondering. Insight and wits, right?
Yep.
Let's see how that
Who are
goes.
we trying to read right now? Are you trying to read Natalia, Malachite, or the Baron?
And the difficulty? No, it's an opposed roll. Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you trying to read?
I think... Yeah, Malachite, maybe.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll. There we go.
Didn't die?
You have 4 successes. Excellent. That's a lot of successes.
Okay.
Malachite, as much as he has that rock gray facade of a face of all angles and almost like skeletal lack of emotion in his demeanor, his eyes reveal a lot to you. And inside him is someone who is very worried currently. Like, there's concern, there's anxiety, those kinds of emotions. There's also a sense of purpose in there, and that's about what you can get from trying to read him. But he will also, since you are looking at him, he will respond. We have gathered you. I will tell you. Once more. He seems a bit snappish now. You are neonates. You are most recent released at court. Therefore, you have not yet been subjected to the corruption of this court, the internal strife of the various clans. The Ventru are debating, he says, with respect to Leonidas, and at the same time a great deal of not at all respect to the clan. The Toreador are scattered, lost in contemplation and devotion, lost in prayer to Saint Michael, without leading the actual mortals they have been given stewardship over. At Simish, they hide in their monastery. We have to unify. We have to gather. We have to shore up the foundation of the dream. And if no one else will do it, then us three will. Yes, and because you three are young, and yet to be affected and drawn into the quagmire that often this city can be, even within Trinity Lands, you might still be clear of purpose, and your soul might still have escaped the ravages of the beast and the temptations of the flesh, such as those the children of Judas would offer you. That is why we reach out to you. Yes, us, ancillae, elders, leaders of Scion families, we are asking you for help. They are silent now.
Yeah, I believe he has not answered completely, but I'm not. I would be not provoking him more. Okay. So yeah, Theognosis will be silent in the contemplation of the whole conversation for a moment.
I have a haven here in the Great Palace, says Malachite. And I have offices in the Senate, says Natalia. We shall leave you to discuss this amongst yourselves. And we pray that you find it within yourselves to come to the aid of the dream. There is perhaps a sense that they might be a bit disappointed with you not leaping at the chance, as the three of them look at you with some melancholy and start leaving. And of course, you don't have to bow to... Isaac should bow to everyone, because Isaac only has one status, and Peril has more than you. But Theognosius and Leo can just nod towards the Baron because he has the same level of status as you do. Though you do have to bow deeply to Natalia and Malachite as they leave.
I do, but I think they did not really ask or check Isaac's opinion on this. Probably because they expect Isaac will
Yep,
do
Malachite
what's
certainly
needed.
does. You've been a good childer so far. He is your mentor. Surely you wouldn't deny your mentor, your Mola,
Yeah,
a request like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically what he's
yeah.
gonna.
Isaac is just there, and nobody is really interested in his opinion. Yeah, and this is good for Isaac. However, I have a question, but I don't know what time can I ask this from Malachite later. I would like to know somewhere, and not here, that what is the general opinion of the Kinates toward these, what is it, whiteout or these monsters that vampires can become? So are they still considered as vampire or just beasts that better to be destroyed? Or
Yeah, there is no
this
way
is
to reach them anymore. They're completely lost. So just put them out of their misery is the general.
yeah,
consensus.
better. They can really be dangerous for the,
Oh, absolutely.
the
I'm not
vampire
saying
clan.
it's easy to put them out of their misery, but yeah, stake them to the sun if you can, run if you can't. It's basically the two.
Permanent frenzy really is what.
Yes, they're in a permanent frenzy and can never be redeemed in any way.
I don't know when we will have a chance to talk to Malachite later, but definitely I would like to find such a time slot or opportunity to talk to him.
Yeah,
Because
right
I have
now
other
the three of
questions.
you are standing in this nice office in the Imperial Palace. You've been left alone to your own devices. It's not necessarily a grand office. I'm sure there are much bigger offices in this place. But it's an office in the Great Palace complex, which means that it is very fancy compared to anything Isaac is used to or anything Theognosius is used to, because you have a simpler lifestyle. And the three of you are looking at each other for the first time since you were introduced at court, perhaps. And what are you going to do about this? How are you going to... Yeah, you're standing there quietly looking at each other.
Yeah, I'm fiddling, I think, with my clothes a little bit.
Yeah.
There and just looking down. And I think I don't dare to start the conversation because I'm not in that position.
You're like, I'm just a Nosferatu. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and just the poor rat catcher, Nosferatu, whatever. Nobody is interested or really,
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm also ignoring the Nosferatu. Sorry about that, Bella.
Oh
but
dear. That's
it
harsh,
makes
man.
sense.
That's harsh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there will be a staring contest with a Ventru.
Oh my god. He's gonna try to stare down the Ventru?
Yeah, maybe, or just weighing him up, weighing him down. How's the expression?
Okay, yeah. Weighing his worth. Oh, is this a social combat, or are we just looking at each other, evaluating each other?
I don't want to be that aggressive. I
Fair
I
enough.
know.
We're just poor neonates, please. They're just fighting amongst ourselves.
I cannot afford it physically, though. But I'm sure going to weigh him, size him up, not weigh him down. Size him up. Size him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. Do you want to hide your true feelings, Leonidas? Do you want to poker face your way through this?
Yes, a poker faces.
All right,
is
then.
useful
Subterfuge
here.
composure, sir, versus wits and insight. That's a
Okay.
lot of dice across the screen. We have... Oh, this is even, which means that the aggressor wins. Theognosius. I mean, I'm not going to charge any willpower points from Leo here. But what is Leo's... Just a superficial feeling, like a demeanor right now. You are on the road of chivalry, after all. I think your general... I don't know... The type of vibe you're giving is one of nobleman who knows he's noble and has the right to lead, perhaps. Is that where... Or and a military man used to command. Is that an accurate way of describing you?
Yes, and slightly concerned with those three going basically besides the usual chain of command we have.
Yes, that could be the case. Yes, of course. So that's the impression you get, Theo.
Okay. Now that those three have left, why shouldn't we help the witch hunters? Or why shouldn't we aid them somehow to cleanse the filth of the Latin Quarter first?
Road
And
of
then
heaven.
deal with them. I don't know if what I have heard or read is true. These may be men of, I suppose they're men of God doing his work. There are quite a lot of sinners in there. What do you
Would
say?
we not count as sinners to them as well then?
If we do, then they will have to be dealt with otherwise. But we can find out who they are or what is happening, because that may not be the case. But
It should be good to learn of this, yes. I suppose our more stealthy acquaintance may help with that.
yeah, indeed, yes. And now I'm looking to the Nosferatu.
Who's just sitting there and flinching in a corner.
Yeah, maybe we won't recognize just after a couple of minutes, maybe. At least 1 minute that there is silence and you are looking at him.
Both of them are looking at
And then so when he realizes he flattens a little bit, maybe, this thinks through that maybe he did something wrong, but then impression or face expression that, okay, what's the problem, or what was the question, sorry?
Since you seem to be a person with some certain skills, and I'm looking at his clothes and his whole demeanor.
And probably
I
feeling
can-
the smell too.
I can, was it blend in easily? Yeah, blend in easily. So,
Have you heard any rumors about what those elders are?
Nope.
Are they elders or whatever?
no, not yet, but I can ask around rumors, or just try to hear out something. So I have some connections, but they are just humans. They are not really pieces of information that we are looking for here. So maybe I have to do it myself.
Mm-hmm. And you, Petro?
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm turning to Leonidas and saying,
Sorry.
and you, Ventru?
I don't frequent those quarters, so I would know.
I see. And I believe that's a leadership spent. That's about it. It's too much.
Aren't you supposed to be the leader, Leo? The commander? You're not taking charge here, I notice. You want to attain a position of power? That's your ambition. This is your chance, isn't it?
To some extent, though I suppose the actual position of power within Clan Ventru would be better than just a regular one.
Yeah, but as a venture, you can always boss the others around for a while until you get that recognition, maybe. I don't know.
This is true. Yes, we will need to gather more information, as well as the dangers presented often in the quarter. How are the two of you in a fight?
Yeah. Theognosius, just laughs sarcastically. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not fit for a fight. But I have other means. I have servants that could help.
Yes, numbers are good.
I think I'm not the best in a fight. I also usually handle such situation in a different way.
Still, if you wish to improve matters, I do have a group that gathers weekly to train if you are interested.
Fight club.
Yeah, this sounds a little bit surprising. Yeah, and yes, I think so. I would like to know more about such things.
I could send my bodyguard. Maybe he learns something new. He's mortal though. But
Still,
He-
if he's going to be more useful, I suppose it would help.
what was that?
If he gets more useful through that, and he serves you, then that is useful.
It sure is. My skill is with lore and not weapons. This it should be obvious. So he wears those monk robes that hide many things, but he's a tall and really slim guy.
Never know what priests are up to before they took the cloth.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like he could indeed handle himself in a fight well.
It's not like a retired emperor or something.
No. Where do you suppose we should start?
We have
Look
to
at the
get our
map, shall
information
we?
from somewhere, yes. Though I don't think it would be safe to just roam around in the Latin Quarter
What?
by ourselves.
Why not just stomp in there right now?
Yeah, with signs that say, hey, we're vampires. If you are a witch hunter, come kill us.
That sounds like the perfect idea, honestly.
If the witch hunters are literate, yes.
Yes, though, you know, if
They're
they are
not,
clergy,
it'll
they
just
are
look silly.
literate. If they are priests, they could actually read such signs, yes.
I should use my contacts in the clergy, find out more.
You should indeed.
They are, yeah, if they are indeed priests and there is not something else happening there. And
Now, you have contacts. We put a contact fixer for you, apparently.
yeah, that's my brother, but I have
Right.
some.
You have influence through monasteries, which is not quite the same as contacts, mind you.
Okay.
But your influence you can use for... Oh, you want to do information... So, strictly speaking, the way this game tries to divide backgrounds, it's basically saying contacts can give you information. Allies will come and help you, and they will generally be decently powerful. They're humans. They don't know that you're a vampire necessarily, and if they do, they don't care. Fame means that humans know about you since before. That you have a name among humans, and apparently, as a father, they're gonna respect you for that. Resources allows you to buy stuff. Influence allows you to pull some strings. So I'm interpreting this as you can get like the help of a human, you don't know exactly who it's gonna be necessarily, and you can sway people. You can make them do things for you. Since it's the monasteries for you, you can make monks do simple things for you because you only have level 1, right? Level 1 in our book, it says advantages, backgrounds, influence. You're guaranteed a respectful hearing is what it says in the book, which doesn't say much. Unfortunately, I do have some critique regarding how this game has been written. It doesn't say much about how we practically use that. But in the player's guide, it says, based in political power, influence adds intrigue and political warfare to the chronicle. It's more than just manipulating city politics or such in the abstract. Certain clans may have easier time adding and using influence in various sectors than others. Think about your predator style as well. Who should you manipulate to help you hunt? It can provide backup protection for your domain. It can give you flexibility in planning. For example, having influence with the local bureaucrats would not be as effective as blocking off street traffic as a police district may. But an alderman's office can put your haven's guard on the list of city-approved youth action groups and so on. So how are we planning to use this influence among ministry? You want to get information, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to get information through your influence or your contacts in this case. To be honest.
Well, I could, of course, ask that brother of mine, the fixer in the hippodrome.
Yes. Though,
what?
why he would know something about destroying vampires in the night. How are you going to phrase this? Because this is... You don't want to break against the Codex of Shadows, the Legacy of Shadows. You're not allowed to... Like, humans are not allowed to know that you exist as a vampire. How would you phrase this?
You may have heard of murders or something.
Yeah. Murders around the Venetian quarters, then I guess. The bishop is, of course, from Venice, so...
Or about newly arrived clergymen.
Religious fanatics.
Yeah,
religious fanatic.
If there are such, they may have been heard of. Well, I'm not expecting that he might know, but it's a start. He may, let's say, ask around, then something else comes up and people start asking who's asking, and maybe that comes to Isaac's ears. I don't know. That's my train of thought right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Pulling these threads is going to take a little while, so you're going to have to go and talk to the people in question and ask them to put the word out in the streets and so on. But it's an avenue of action. You should get some kind of word for them, like tomorrow night or something. It's probably not going to materialize this night. You have to let these things percolate out and let your grapevine do its job.
Yeah, no internet. So,
exactly. There's no Snapchat for you, sir.
so
yeah, go ahead.
in case we don't forget it, I have to ask my brother about the books as well.
Yes.
That's there. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. So,
what are your thoughts, rest of the coterie? To do? How would you... Theognosius has presented how he wants to help out. How do you guys want to help out?
I think I'm going to visit that bar, that tavern, and just look
South
around.
Aswad.
What was it? South Aswad? Yeah. And I will ask the beggars whether they know anything about that place. Have they been around, or do they know anybody
You're working
there?
on that. It's gonna take a while for the beggars to become contacts for you. They're not contacts for you yet.
Yeah, if they don't, I will just go there
Yeah, no, for sure. You can
and
do that.
see. Yeah, so if they don't know anything, because they might come across somebody or heard, or maybe there were insults and that's why they are not there, or I don't know.
That makes sense.
So there could be many reasons. Yeah.
That's
So
something you definitely can do tonight too.
okay, and then I just go there. First, I will just check what kind of people are going in or coming out. Is there any music or gambling possibilities, or so?
We'll wait until we get to the place. Now, first of all, we
All
have
right.
to ask Leonidas how he was. Isaac is offering to go to South Aswad and scout the place.
Yes, what Leonidas is currently considering is perhaps joining the night patrols that happen, keep the area safe, and see
Very
if
well.
that gives any insight. Being with a group of soldiers should make it a bit safer to go about the Latin quarters.
Slightly, yeah. Yes, I am typing down notes. There is no tomorrow. Because maybe there is no tomorrow. This is the end of the world. No. Leonidas is gonna go. You have a veteran ally. Let's have a look at how that works in this new edition that has been around for several years already.
It's not that new anymore.
It's not that new
really.
anymore. You have a weak mortal ally, likely useless in a violent or potentially violent situation. Yay! And since you couldn't put any dots into, like, reliability, this person will turn up less than half the time. Woohoo!
I can always join up with a patrol using my fame as an int if the veteran doesn't show up.
Your fame does help, yes, absolutely. So you have a veteran, and this person is clearly old and sick by now. What do we call this guy? He's seen too many battles, this man. His name is... There we go. I don't know when I picked that name. I just did. And Seraphim is a weak mortal. So he has 2 attributes at 2. Strength and stamina, maybe? And then he has the rest at 1. He has 3 skills at 2, and he's a veteran, so I'm gonna give him melee and athletics. And what is his third? Is it archery or brawl or something else? Streetwise? What do you want him to have? Streetwise will actually be useful to you. I just gave him Streetwise.
But it's really, yeah. Maybe he gets involved with criminal stuff.
Yeah. Every once in a while. There. Okay. I'm gonna have to make a picture for him sooner or later. But, okay, so we're... Basically, the first thing that happens is that the 3 of you decide to split up and go your separate ways to pull various threads, and which makes sense. It's not a problem with that. And see how you can address the problems confronting Constantinople tonight. And we're gonna divide you into different places here. So we will have Leonidas going out to the barracks. All the way out to the barracks. Yay. The barracks being, of course, all the way out here. Unless there are some barracks in town. Maybe there is something like a small guard shack. But I think that's probably where you go. Most of the soldiers sleep out there. Isaac is going to head into the Great Bazaar to South Aswad, the tavern that is very luxurious and where you can meet anyone, basically. Potentially, at least. Potentially. And we're gonna have our friend Theognosius going to the Hippodrome and, I don't know, the Hagia Sophia. There's some monasteries somewhere, I'm sure. There's lots of monasteries out here in further out from town.
What time is it?
It's midnight,
later.
yeah. It's not midnight, that's not what we say around here. It's, what was it again? I never remember the medieval designations for times. It is...
Equivalent.
Matins.
Anyway.
Yes, matins. It is matins, my friend. Matins. So, who do we want to start with? Shall we start with... Oh, I always go alphabetically, don't I? Isaac still wants to harm someone. He still has that urge.
Yeah.
Kill them
Is
all.
there-
Punch them all.
Is there some? But do I need to? I don't need to kill the guy.
No, you just need to harm people in such a way that they will feel very sad. Basically, get all their willpower, fill their willpower track with superficial damage should do the trick. Which is a problem, because you're very bad at manipulating people and hurting them that way. Talking to people is not your forte. And here you have this urge to hurt people by talking to them.
Okay, not physically.
Not physically, no. It would be easier for you if that was the case, but
Yeah.
not tonight. Yeah, we're going to the Great Bazaar, and you're gonna sneak around there in this nightlife to see if you can find some people who might be interesting. A little while to get there, of course, so it's past midnight now, but since it's still just around midnight, I'm not gonna say that there's a whole lot of people out there. After all, it's the Middle Ages, and if you stay out late at night, bad things happen to you, particularly in a city like Constantinople, and particularly maybe in this area. It's not as bad as the slums, mind you, where you have to expect anyone with a knife, knife-wielding people around every corner, basically. But it's still bad enough. But there are some night guards, patrols of the I think that's how they're that's how it's spelled, isn't it? The mercenary band who is known for keeping order in the city streets so people don't get mugged and don't kill each other and such like. And there are also some late night taverns who have bribed the local officials to keep open. And I'm sure there's going to be some people who are trying to sell whatever the last thing they can sell at night. Most of the merchant stalls will be closed by now, but there will be maybe one or two who have a rug out with some artifacts, something they want to sell. Shops are definitely closed for the most part, unless a K-Knight might persuade the owner to open up for special clienteles. But there's also going to be some night revelers out and about and talking to each other. And why don't we see who you might see this night? I am going to... Why don't you roll your wits and awareness, Isaac, as you are trying to find K-Knights in the night. And for this roll, you might want to use a blood surge, but I don't know if you're gonna.
And what does this mean, the blood surge?
It means that you add, so you're basically calling on the power of Cain's blood, and it gives you 2 extra dice to roll. So instead of rolling wits and awareness 4 dice, you would roll 6 dice.
But I think I just have a limited amount, and would become hungry.
You might become
To use
hungrier,
it.
yes. It's not a guaranteed, but there is a risk
Yeah.
of like 50-50 that you get hungrier, yeah.
Okay, so mostly, but I don't really want to find Canaanites at the moment. Just look around,
Okay.
know places better, and
What are you looking for?
first, I don't know, just no. So on the outside, I would like to examine what kind of people or Canaanites are coming in or coming out. What kind of place do I need to modify my and later I will just hear out some conversation, see what's going on, gambling, drinking, I don't know. So there could be many things inside. And whether these witch hunters know already this place, or maybe they will be already talking about them. Who knows? Okay, so I'm not using.
Very good.
Dice.
I would like, since you're
Just-
being I mean, you can just take half to be sneaky if you want. Because you are that level of sneaky. You are nothing if not super sneaky, I think. You're the sneakiest sneak of the sneaks.
Yeah, so, but I'm rolling for awareness and wits, right?
Yep, for sure.
So, don't know what this means.
Okay, yeah, let's have you there then. You are gonna sneak into the South Aswat the way only Isaac can. And this place is quite a happy place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, it's also a very fancy place. So as you're sneaking in through the kitchen entrance when nobody's paying attention to you, and sneaking through the kitchen where people are still working hard, even in the late night hour as it is.
They seem to be humans.
The people in the kitchen, absolutely. I don't see any Canaanite who would,
Do
be
this.
that close to a kitchen fire and stir the stew pot and such things. That's not normally what Canaanites are known to do. But yeah, the South Aswat has a lot of human guests. Most of them have finished their meals. They're basically deep into cups of wine by now. They're quite intoxicated, according to your reading of the room. You can't see any Canaanites standing out as of yet, but you're not looking for them either. This place is very high class. Rich merchants come here. Wouldn't go so far as to say nobles, necessarily. But maybe at least nobles of the cloth or bureaucrats. Anyone who is in the top, shall we say, 10% of society. So we're talking rich citizens, crafters perhaps, who are rich enough. If you're an excellent carpenter who is doing work for nobles, then you could probably afford to come here.
Yeah, there is cloth on the table, so
Exactly. the finest Lebanon cedar paneling here on the walls. It smells
I think
deliciously.
my clothes are not as good as the
No,
tablecloth.
no, you are definitely not dressed for this place at all, except maybe as a footman for one of the locals. But even then, if a rich merchant comes here with an assistant, that assistant is going to have better clothes than you have.
Yeah.
But you don't have unseen presence, but you do have unseen passage. So if you just want to stay hidden, or you can roll a stealth for difficulty 4. You know what? It depends on how sneaky you want to be here. Honestly, it's hard to be sneaky if you want to get into the actual main room, like where people are eating their food. if you just want to stick to the shadows in the hallway somewhere, I feel like you could pull that off. It's challenging, but you do challenging every day as a sneak. So I'm going to let you decide if you want to go in
And
there.
what about the unseen passage? Can I use that even to go to inside? Does it seem to be risky?
You can use Unseen
Or-
Passage, but it requires you to use the Strength of Cain. You need to
Yeah, I know.
rouse the blood for that.
I know.
So
Okay, maybe for now I will just stay outside or put in the main room.
sounds good to me.
And
All
not
right.
using the special
Isaac
skill
is
I have.
on the scene. Isaac is at the place. How do we describe this in different words? On the case. Meanwhile,
Cool,
in a
so-
different part of town, we have ourselves one Leonidas, who is going to try to talk to his veteran friend. What is you? You know what? Why don't we roll a D3, Leonidas? If you roll a 3 on a D3, your veteran friend is available. Otherwise, he is not.
Interesting odds.
Yep. You only have a single dot in allies, so...
Let's see, that's a D3. I can just put it in like that, or it doesn't have a D3. It says what?
What?
The D4 is the lowest here, it seems.
Oh, yeah, you can just do
Or-
/R spacebar 1d3.
Ah.
Apparently your ally is not around right now.
Unfortunate.
Yep. So all you get is some military folks and absolutely no tavern celebrations around here.
I'm certain me volunteering for a night patrol wouldn't be refused.
I'm not certain. First of all, you do not have an official military rank anymore, seeing as you're dead, and you don't have the mask background. So you don't.
No, but the fame can be leveraged.
Your fame can be leveraged. This is true. Absolutely.
I will simply ask to accompany the patrol, not get involved in its business.
Wait, have I done all the things here? Yes. The barracks! There we are. This nice and wonderful place where we're gonna talk to some soldiers. Leonidas. This is gonna take a while, of course. I'm gonna say. Oops. There. Why don't we roll a charisma, leadership, and you can add your fame here as an extra die, I think. Your fame is amazing! Fame 1. A select subculture knows who you are and admires you. Yay!
I do appreciate them knowing who I am, yes.
Use your fame in a social dice pool instead of another trait. Wow. Wow. Apparently, when you come in here in the barracks and shove your weight around, Leonidas, that means something around here. How did they know you? As a hero of the wars from whatever? Were you
Veteran of the Balkan Wars, and
hero
then
of the Balkan
me
Wars?
pulling my men out of that disaster, mostly unscathed, probably also helped.
So the soldiers, when you're like coming up to a patrol, they're just armoring up and they have the horses ready. The horses will be a bit skittish around you for some reason, Leonidas. I guess you're going to a foot patrol for this particular reason. You don't want to get
I don't
close
think
to
they're
a
gonna ride
riding
horses
patrol
through the
because
city,
then the animals will freak out and go, "Oh my God, a predator is going to come here to eat our blood." because that's how animals behave around vampires normally.
I'm not a barbarian. If only I could tell them that I can't even drink their blood without vomiting it. But I'd feel much safer.
Yeah, this is fair. You are so strong in the blood that you won't even gain any benefit from drinking from animals at all.
Well, as a Ventru, I have better taste too than horse blood.
That too, yes. You're not just of a strong and noble blood, you're also of a strong and noble and illustrious bloodline. So how could you possibly?
Alas, I cannot share this with the horses.
No, you need to learn animalism for that, and you don't have that. But you're gonna go to a foot patrol. And they're gonna look up and go, there's some whispers among them. Oh, isn't that? There probably is. Yeah. Oh. And as you come closer, the sergeant will go the equivalent, the medieval equivalent of turn hum, and everybody just stands properly in front of you. You can see, I don't know if they have chainmail, these guys, but at least good leather harnesses and spears and shields and clubs in their belts to hit civilians. These guys are not gonna go out there to kill people in the street, but they have short swords and proper cudgels to smack people around when needed. And obviously carry some chains as well in case they have to manacle someone. All that usual jazz. Yeah, so what are you saying to them here? You have 6 successes, so clearly they are absolutely going to be impressed with you.
Yes, what will I say? What will I say?
That's what I'm asking.
Good evening, men. I am Leonidas Dalasenos. It has come to my attention that in the past several weeks there have been incidents in the Venetian quarters. And I would like to accompany you, good man, on patrol to see for myself whether there is any truth to these rumors.
Oh, my lord, we're not supposed to go in there, my lord. But since you're asking, my lord, I suppose that very well, my lord. We will do as you say.
Is it still Constantinople? Damn it!
Of course, my lord. For the emperor, for the Basilevs.
Oh, hail the Basileus!
Hail the Basilevs. Yeah, so apparently you're going with a foot patrol.
Nationalism.
Exactly. Meanwhile, of course, we have Theognosius, who is going to go and speak to your contact in the Hippodrome or some priests. Where are we going this time?
Yeah, maybe I could attend some midnight mass, or how it's called. Some other monastery.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe which church is the closest to the Venetian quarters?
Oh, there are so many churches around here. Gee.
Yeah, it's a
church is the closest.
Roman city.
There are even churches inside the Latin quarters. Let's see, now we have Church of Irene. I guess there's a church down here, in the Amalfiton quarters, where you could go.
Okay.
Why not? Let's use that. Theognosius will go into the Amalfiton quarters. Ooh.
Of course, I bring Ignatius with me.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't think I should be wandering at night near the Latin quarters alone.
You know what? That is usually a bad idea, yes.
Yeah. So I suppose there should be a service at around 12 or 1 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah, matins will be done, basically, by the time you get there.
Yeah,
roll a
let's
sneaky
say
roll here.
around the end or something.
Yep, you are arriving at the end of matins. There is a church there, certainly. I don't even know the name of the church in this case. There are so many churches in Constantinople. It's dedicated to one of the saints. Pick one.
Yeah, it's St. Nicholas since it's near the sea.
That makes
Or
sense. The Church
yeah,
of St. Nicholas. Yes.
why not?
Which also is Santa. Not yet, no.
Yeah, so I go and attend the service at its end, and
Indeed.
then should be looking around to find someone to talk to. Some maybe yeah, the head priest that did the service or something.
For sure. We have, let's see, just a second. I'm just setting a thing up here because I realized I hadn't done this before. Foolish but true. And there and there. It's a church ish.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah.
And Ignatius is there with you as well, of course. You're gonna meet a priest here, and you're gonna talk to the priest about something. The priest's name is. We need a name for the priest. The name is Stylianos.
It's what?
I don't know.
Mm,
Ilias.
Okay.
Ilias. Father Ilias.
Elias. Okay. So I approach him. I don't. Greetings, Father. Uh,
Greetings, Father, he says. In return, of course.
I don't remember the proper greeting. Yeah, for monks and priests. I should. I will. So nice service there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you. Let's come straight to the point.
Of course. Please come. And he will lead you into the priest's quarters and
Yeah.
pour you a cup of wine and take a cup of wine himself because he has no idea that you're in fact a vampire who drinks the blood of the living. You can drink this cup of wine if you use rouse the blood to use blush of life. Blush of life is
Yeah.
a thing you do to appear mortal in different ways. If you want to come across as human and drink that wine without vomiting it immediately, then yes, that's what you can do.
Yeah. I suppose I have to. So I should roll rouse.
Yeah,
Right.
click the arouse button, exactly. You call upon the blood of Cain. And ironically, as you drink the wine, you get hungrier as the beast inside you goes. But you manage to keep it down, and you manage to keep your cool, and nobody is any wiser. You seem perfectly human to this other man of the cloth. What can I do for you, Father Theognosius? You have introduced yourself, I'm thinking, and you have some fame too.
Yeah. I have heard that there are some new arrivals in the city.
Oh,
Some rumors say that there are fiery men of God that do his work. And they seem to have set up in the Latin Quarter of all places. And I was wondering, I'm really interested to know them. And I was wondering, since your church and your parish is inside the Latin Quarter, is it not? If you have come across them.
yes, of course. Let's see now. You have a little bit of influence in the monasteries. I don't like it when a rulebook don't tell me how to use the rule system properly, because it really doesn't say. It's so flimsy. It's just, yeah, you are a local factor in. What does that even mean? So influence means, in this case, you are guaranteed a respectful hearing. Okay, at level 2 they want to do your favors. Yes, of course. I can try and ask about what. I'm not sure that there's a lot of different groups here. Some more pious than others, I should say. We have a local chapter of the Knights Templar. We have some hospitallers, all sorts of emissaries from the Bishop of Rome, of course, and various monastic orders from the West as well.
Any recent arrivals, though? Have you heard of any?
I've heard of some. Let me. What specifics are we looking for here? People come and go here all the time. Why don't we have you roll a manipulation? I don't know. Is it going to be etiquette? Are we trying to intimidate the guy? Persuasion seems reasonable here.
More persuasion, yeah.
Yep. We're not going to use rhetoric this time, though, because I don't think you're holding a speech for him. You're just asking around. But you can add to this roll both your fame die and your influence die, I'm going to say. So you get 2 extra dice to this, which puts us to... Maybe you don't even have to roll them, because you have 5 plus 2. That's 7 dice. Yeah, that should be enough if you take half.
Okay.
So yes, Father Ilias will say, there are many rumors about, and many people come and go here all the time, Father. You'd have to be a little bit more specific, but I'd be happy to help you. I know, I've heard of your name has been carried before you, Father, and you are a man of God. And when Father Theognosius comes knocking, of course, we will try to connect you with the people you seek.
Yeah. You are a man of God. Theognosius makes a sign of the cross and says a small prayer.
Thank you, Father. And God's blessings upon you too.
I have heard only rumors, unfortunately. People talk to me in the monastery I reside, or it's Pantocrator monastery, that services and for confessions, and they have told me about these new arrivals in the city, but unfortunately I didn't ask them more until...
So we don't know the name of an order, and we don't know the name of any of their priests or monks. That will be a bit more difficult in the Latin quarters. Well, I will ask around for you, Father. The Benedictines have been here for quite a while, and there are other monastic orders, of course, but if someone has established themselves in this last few months, I'm sure I can find out.
I would be very grateful.
Not at all. We all do God's work, and I'm sure that God has led you to me for a purpose.
Indeed, I hope so.
And so I think we will leave our intrepid vampires of the night here. It's 1 a.m., but I'm sure you'll have some more time to devote to various investigations this night, as your work for God continues, everyone. Thanks for anyone tuning in to watch. Don't forget to follow Myth Machine, the channel, if you want to be updated on the new streams, or if you're tuning in on the YouTube channel, subscribe, join the community, so you're aware of the next time we update this story, and we will see you again.